Bad Boys trailer is coming out.
Right now.
Right now. Right now.
Yeah, right now.
Right now. Right now.
Check it out.
It's hot.
I'm not prepared to pursue my line of inquiry any further, as I think this is getting too silly.
Quite agree. Silly. Right, get on with it. Get on with it!
How do we live in a universe where you get 4 bad boy films, but only one of the nice guys? So, I'm sorry, but I'm not wasting my time or yours on this series. Instead, for the week that's in it, with the 80th anniversary of the D-Day landings, let's look at a classic war film that you think you know, or may never have seen at all. The Longest Day. So, what did I think? Today, when we think of films set on D-Day, every single one of us, I can guarantee you, will immediately go to Steven Spielberg's classic Saving Private Ryan and the intensity of the landing scene on Omaha Beach. Even now, 26 years later, for an entire generation, this is the film that is the reference point both for D-Day and a classic war movie. But while Saving Private Ryan today is considered a masterpiece of filmmaking, a personal favourite of mine, and a film wrongfully robbed of Best Picture, D-Day is just the opening act in a larger drama, and in my opinion on the subject of the day itself is overshadowed by another. A film, to me, that is both the definitive historical record of the day and a film that, to be honest, 62 years later, is yet to be matched in scale and accuracy of the events that occurred on the 6th of June 1944. And that film is The Longest Day. Now I know what you're thinking and what you're going to say. We've all seen The Longest Day. It's on television almost every holiday weekend. But the question is, have you? Or has it been on in the background with you not really paying attention? Or, perish the thought, you watch the colorized monstrosity?
Du hast mal genau zugehört. Die Invasion hat begonnen. Ja, die Invasion. Und sofort zum Einsatz. Was soll ich denn mit nur 2 Maschinen anfangen? Wo sind die Gruppen jetzt, die mir weggenommen hat, die Idioten? Brille! Dienstlicher Befehl. Mach dich sofort startklar. Sofort, verstanden?
Even 6 decades after its release, it is a pleasant surprise to see just how relevant in style and storytelling The Longest Day has remained. Based on a novel by Irish-American journalist Cornelius Ryan, who is also credited with the screenplay, The Longest Day tells of the 36 hours in the run-up to and on D-Day itself. What would be called a docudrama today, The Longest Day is a unique experiment in filmmaking. With such a vast subject to cover, 3 directors were hired. Ken Anakin for the British and French sequences, Andrew Martin for the American, and Bernhard Wicki for the German. Now, in any other film, to have 3 directors would be a disaster. And it would be a disaster 8 years later with Tora, Tora, Tora.
Want a confirmation, Captain? Take a look. There's your confirmation.
But here, this technique, married to the docudrama style of the film, works perfectly. In particular, Martin's experience as a second unit director shines through, especially the sequences on Omaha Beach. The most expensive black and white film ever made until Schindler's List in 1994. Every cent is up on the screen. The film captures the expanse of the day, perhaps summed up in the stunning wide-angle sequence in the Battle of Ouistreham. A sequence that, if it was filmed today, would be done so using CGI and would not be 1/10 as impressive. Unsurprisingly, The Longest Day took home the 1962 Oscar for cinematography in black and white. What also elevates this beyond other films of the day was the choice to shoot on location. Still considered a luxury at the time, most war films were still shot in sound stages and location was 5 miles down the road from wherever the studio was located, with pot plants. Such as a few years later when the state of Georgia stood in for Vietnam in the Green Berets. Who knew there were so many pine trees in the jungles of Vietnam? But here, the locations matter. I have visited Normandy. I've stood on Omaha and Utah beaches, I've seen Pegasus Bridge, and I've stood outside the still bullet-riddled church in the square at Saint-Mary-Glaise, where so many paratroopers died. And having done so makes the impact of the film and its realism far greater. As for the beach landings themselves, the film captures how it must have felt for both sides.
Invasion. Sie kommen.
Yes, Spielberg's is more visceral, but again, take into account the ridiculous haze codes in which studios censored themselves, and you soon realise that the scenes in Omaha especially would have seemed astonishing to audiences. And although Spielberg would later film his own version, the execution of troops surrendering, accidentally or otherwise, is still a daring and shocking moment for an American film in the 1960s.
Don't worry, Sarge, you're gonna be all right.
Medic! Medic! Bitte! Bitte!
I wonder what bitter means.
As for the acting, I don't think there's a single weak performance. Even John Wayne, who by this point in his career was becoming slightly a parody of himself, has his moments.
Colonel, am I glad to see you?
Those bodies. Get those bodies down. What are you doing leaving them up there like that? Get them down!
Of course, yes, sir, but... Well, we've been under fire,
I
sir.
know you have, but I don't care. Get them down, down!
The casting of major stars in basically one-scene cameos adds to the gravitas of the events on screen. And with the decision of the filmmakers not to portray either side as heroes or villains, merely soldiers simply trying to survive when they are killed, the shock gets across to the audience the true horror of war and that anyone can die.
Sergeant.
Now, if you were to ask me personally, was there a single standout role, then I would have to say Richard Todd. Todd's career was winding down as a leading man in British cinema when he was asked to take the role of Major John Howard, the officer leading British paratroopers who took the bridge at Caen. Now, Todd gives a sterling performance as the Major who must hold until relieved. But one wonders, how much was acting and how much was memory? Because Todd had actually been at the bridge at Caen. In fact, another actor plays Todd in the film. Now, if that isn't method acting, nothing is.
Order! 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 Action off!
6 decades on, there is no question that The Longest Day is one of the great films of the 1960s, with one of the best final lines in cinema history.
I wonder who won.
When you consider that at the Academy Awards the following year, The Longest Day was only beaten out of Best Picture by Lawrence of Arabia, it merely confirms they really don't make them like that anymore. And I doubt in the Hollywood of today you would find an executive with the guts to even try. Now, The Longest Day is available on multiple platforms. If you've seen it before, go watch it again. And if you've never seen it before, I have one question for you. Why the hell not?
Please, sir, I want some more. More? All right, stop it. Stop it right there. Go on, fill up the bowl.
And if you liked this episode of So What Did I Think and want to see more, please click like and subscribe. Remember, always subscribe. Thanks for watching.